This device was purchased from Amiga Kit. And what is it? This is the RASCSI, or Raspberry Pi SCSI, RASCSI. And like its cousin, the SCSI to SD, it does a very similar function, except it does much more. This one is using the Raspberry Pi Zero, and it has the ability to have an LCD display. This unit did originally come with an LCD display. However, I removed it to flip it around for top use because I 3D printed with my crappy printer a nice case that is basically pressure fit, gives you a hard drive light. Whoops. Gives you a hard drive light and looks kind of like a small external hard drive. Still giving you the pass-through DB25 out, and if you so inclined, you can attach a 50-pin ribbon cable to have it live on the inside of your devices. This is fully compatible with basically any SCSI computer, meaning the Amiga, the Macintosh is what it was originally designed for, your Atari, anything that's going to be in need of a SCSI device, you will be able to use this device to give yourself SCSI discs on micro SD, and also the ability to transfer files back and forth, SCSI networking, and the ability to mount ISO images or even download web pages and present them as discs on your retro computer. So here it is in its case. And I want to thank Jonathan for this because you made this possible. Thank you. This was a donation from Jonathan. Not going to say his last name. This is greatly appreciated and it will be put to use. We use everything. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who donates to the channel. Like this Pi Amiga mousepad, pretty cool. Many other things. So thank you everyone for supporting me, helping me, and just taking care of a fellow. But for now, let's get to the build of the RASCSI, Raspberry Pi SCSI, incredible device. I'm going to jump back to the past when I just got this kit and needed to figure it out. We're going to go through the build process, what is required, and then see how it works out. Hey guys, it's Chris, and today we're going to be doing something really cool. This thing right here is called a RASCSI or a RASCSI. I'm calling it RASCSI because that's what it says. What the heck is it? It is another Raspberry Pi SCSI thing. Now, a lot of us use these. These are SCSI to SDs. They work great. They take an SD card. You set up partitions for your Amiga, Atari even, I don't know. For your Amiga, Mac, PC, anything with a SCSI device, it plugs right on in. 50-pin connector, 4-pin Berg, you're on your way. But what if you could do just a little bit more? What if you could plug this into your external SCSI port and your internal SCSI port? Or both, you know, I don't know. And you have like a GoTech display screen of what's going on. Well, that's great. Hard drive's a hard drive. Why should I go all through this? Well, for 40 bucks, you can get this sucker fully loaded. Amiga Kit sells these ready to roll. LCD screens, fully assembled. GPIO, already soldered on. This one has a Raspberry Pi Zero. Took it out of RGB to HDMI. Has a micro SD slot, the mini HDMI, and 2 micro USBs. There's a couple things we have to do. Of course, you got to put a Linux OS on it. We're going to use RPI Imager. And then you can git clone the repository for the RASCSI and get it set up. The official build of RASCSI on the GitHub and its wiki are meant for Macintosh, and it does have Commodore Amiga listed working with various SCSI cards, but they don't have the base of Amigas with SCSI stuff to test them. Let's get it configured and get this thing working. So we're going to load a Raspberry Pi Imager here, and we're going to say choose OS, Raspberry Pi Other. We're going to do a 32-bit light. And what that is, it is a Debian with no desktop environment. It boots a little faster. Choose our storage, this one, right, and say yes. So it is now doing its Raspberry Pi thing and booting, I guess. I don't know. Yep, there's a green light right here. Got cables floating around all over the place. There it is, resizing your partition, so now I can actually see what's going on. So this is your normal Linux boot. I'm going to run sudo raspi config. And I'm going to set up my system options, wireless LAN, U for United States, where Jesus lives, SSID, get off my wireless, yay. We're going to turn on I2C, because I wanted to enable that on the display for the RASCSI. Localization options, locale, bye-bye Great Britain, ENUS UTF-8. We're going to set a time zone once this finishes its stuff, and we'll do New York for me. I'm in Pennsylvania. Once again, localizations, wireless LAN, country, even though I already set it in the other ones. We're going to go into interface options, and we're going to turn on SSH. So now we're going to go finish, reboot. And this is on their wiki page. And you have to install some stuff. So we're just going to do this, copy, and paste this in. Poop. It'll download its just prerequisites. And then we're going to copy the second line. Now this will take several minutes to complete. Next one, we're going to clone the repository. Cloning to RASCSI. Now it says, determine which board you have. There's two options, standard or full spec. If you have version 2.2 or newer, you have a full spec board. All of the Amiga kit boards here are coming in at 2.3. There's also a section for hard drive light here, ground and activity. And there are two flip-flop switches for active termination on the line. So we have the git clone. Now all we got to do is go cd pop, cd ras, that one, and then we go /easyinstall.sh. Here we go. So this is the options it's going to give you. Now we're all doing this for the first time. So this is, remember, I'm doing this so you don't have to. Alright, so we're going to install update SCSI, RASCSI service plus the web interface. Yep. We're going to create an HFS formatted Mac with Lido drivers. Nope. Network Assistant. Configure network forwarding over Ethernet, DHCP, or static IP. Gives you a web interface. Reserve, or you can install AFP. Remember, this is initially set up for a Mac, but we're going to just install the service. One. It's going to install the service plus the web interface. And then we're going to go to the web interface and configure this thing. We're still compiling. So I'm reading ahead a little bit on the instructions here. It says, boiled down, RASCSI simply presents one or more files on the Raspberry Pi file system as SCSI disks. So, you will create or already have a file system somewhere on your Raspberry Pi, and RASCTL, so Raspberry SCSI Control, presents it as a disk on the SCSI bus. Your computer treats it like a hard drive, magnetical optical disk, CD-ROM, network card, etc. This document talks about creating images and presenting them with RASCSI on the SCSI bus and how to use them on your target computer. Holy crap, it's still compiling. It is currently 10:30 p.m. Omnibot's battery broke. So after all that SOB failed. It took, it's at 10:46 p.m. So I'm going to do a clean and recompile. It takes freaking forever. Yay. 11:14 p.m. I'm going to run to Rofo and get some fried chicken because fat plus chicken equals happiness. It is 1:49 in the morning. After I got the whole thing done, I'm wondering why I'm having all these problems. RASCSI, whatever you want to call it, is only meant to work with up to Debian 10 Buster. Not 11 that just came out, because that just causes all sorts of compile errors and you need a different compiler. That would have been nice information to know, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hours ago. Got Tanya here holding this cord down so I could let this thing just hang, and there's a fan behind my fat self shooting air this way. I put a single heatsink on the 0, and because it was getting just so hot I couldn't leave it sitting on the desk. I was thinking about going to bed. You know, it's just shy of 2 a.m. and you know, you get lost in Amiga land, you get lost in Raspberry Pi land. One thing led to another. I drank half a beer. Didn't even finish my beer. Went and got chicken tenders because I went to Micro Center to get all this crap and forgot to eat. I am imaging this card. Here, whoops. Here's the 3D printed case I made. I know it looks Mac-ish, and this lip of lost adhesion is for speed. I'm going to reprint that tomorrow. I'm just killing it. I'm done. See you in a minute, which will be many hours for me after sleeping. Good morning. It's 10 a.m. I'm 3D printing another base. I got it to stick, so the lid turned out so well. I'm doing a base. My 3D printer is a turd, and this warped because I was trying a new way of adhesion with Captain tape. Not so well. So 2 a.m. last night, left off with getting the RASCSI software installed, but still had issues with getting it to see anything. And the reason I'm thinking is because it needs a SCSI signal. So, in my ultimate wisdom, I figured, you know what? I don't want to risk an Amiga right now, since this is made for a Mac. So, this is my Performa 575. It's a little yellowing, but it worked. Hello from the future. Alright, the RASCSI website finally appeared. So this thing will do Ethernet. That's awesome. Let's see. Attach an IP address. Wireless LAN 0. Static IP optional to SCSI ID 4. We're going to attach that. It'll go up the top here. Alright, we attached a SCSI Ethernet address. We're going to do image file management. We have 26 gigs on the Pi. Fine. I don't know. We're going to create an empty disk image. We're going to call it test, right? It's going to be a, oh sweet, SCSI hard disk image for 68,000. Sweet. We're going to do Apple Genuine HDA just for S&Gs. And we're going to give it, whoops, 200 megabytes. I'm just doing a test here. Can you see that? Yep, 200 megabytes. I'm just going to say create. ID 1. Attach. And then we're going to attach the Ethernet to ID 2. Attach. Alright. I don't know what's going on. That's perfect. We have some options for RASCSI here. Let's go over to the shaky screen. Now, I'm doing this on the Mac so I don't blow up a real Amiga. I just wanted to make sure it works. Also, my LCD screen never came on. It was supposed to. I don't know. We'll get into that in a bit. The things I do for freaking videos. There's a cable hanging in the way. Get out of there. This is some janky stuff. This is a Centronics 50 to a HD 50 that has an iOmega converter from a 50 HD back to a 25. This is a Centronics 50 from a 50 to a 25 male to a male to female converter to a 25. Holy crap. How come when you set one thing down, all cords are instantly tangled? Quantum Fireball, there it is. But I have no LCD screen. Alright, so I'm going to choose Disc 1. Quantum Fireball is what it says it is over here. Quantum Fireball test.hda. Holy crap, it works. So it's combining the SCSI bus. I don't know why I don't have a display screen, but now, like I said before, I apologize for the screen flicker. This is a 60 hertz thing, and my camera set 60 hertz because that's nice and clear, but for some reason CRTs just freak it out. So if it gets blurry, I do apologize. Initialize it. Here's my SCSI 200 megger. You can see here that it is copying. Less than a minute. It's literally 23 megs. This is not fast at all. On my janky setup, I'm running it external on the Mac side, but it's just theory, okay? So the idea of this test is I don't give a crap if I break this because I can find these. I do give a crap if I break my Amiga 3000. Alright, I'm going to shut this down now that I know that this works. If this thing breaks my 3000, we're grabbing Tanya and going to town on that mofo. Now this RASCSI kind of uses your device's SCSI bus. So if this is scsi.device, it is scsi.device. It's just an extension and it's just running over there for now on a long cable. We're going to use the built-in HDS, and I'm going to attach that to ID 3 again. Why am I using 3? I don't know. Alright, I'm just going to run that, exit. I'm going to see if I can just run HD Toolbox again and let it sniff. Alright, I didn't have to reboot. Let's see. ID 3, let's change drive type, define new, and sniff it. It's 25 megabytes. RASCSI. Whole bust. Alright, so it has to use the HDS style SCSI hard drive. Save changes. I'm just going to partition this and say RASCSI. I don't care. It is not bootable. Guess I could make it bootable. 25 megs. International FFS. I'm just going to hit OK and save change to the drive. Why is this one changed? Don't know. Okay. And here she is. RASCSI. Let's do a normal format. We should be able to do a quick format. RASCSI. Wow, that's a strange character to have in there. No trash can, fast file system, international like Jesus would choose. We could do long filing, but just quick format. I just want to see if this works. Quick formatting. Wow, that was incredibly fast. It's only 25 megs, I know. So now let's copy something to it. We'll use regular, let's go to the dump here. State-of-the-art demo. Let's just bip. It's there. Let's, I want to do some analysis on it. Let's run a directory opus. Let's copy something with some heft to it. So while it's running and copying, I'm going to go on the this thing over here, and I'm going to make another hard drive. So this is a HDF file. I'm going to delete that Amiga HDF file. Just going to delete it off the drive. Test.hda was a Macintosh one. That worked. I'm just going to go down here to create a disk. I'm going to call it Amiga 3000. It's a HDS, and I'm going to give it 1,000 megs. It's done. I'm going to attach this right now to ID 4. There it is. I'm going to quit this, or just get out of here for a second. We're going to run HD Toolbox again. We should have an ID 4 just pop in. Whoops. Sorry. Without rebooting. Look at that. Hot drive. ID 4. Change drive type. Define new. Read. OK. 1,000 megabytes on the nose. RASCSI. Gotcha. Whoops. Partition this drive. Delete that. I'm just going to call this one big. Whoops. G. And OK. And we'll save change to the drive here. And we should have a big pop up in just a second. There she is. Big is uninitialized. We're going to format this disk. Call it big. And the normal options. You know the drill. formatting, initializing disk, light freaked out. There, we got big. So now we're going to rerun Opus. Now this was all live. I didn't reboot the Amiga. I did the changes on the web interface. Big. So we're going to go to over here, DH1. We're going to copy all of my mods. Just copy them. Now remember, this is Amiga SCSI bus. It's going to be, it is what it is. Okay? Not like it's going to be mad performance. I just need some data on the drives so I can just get something on there. Okay. So I'm going to launch AWeb, and I'm going to go to this address over here. The reason being is I want to be able to manipulate the RASCSI without using another computer. There we go, RASCSI emulation. Look at that. So same. Now the colors are going to be a little different, of course. But can I make another drive? Can I eject a disk? Yeah, there it is right there. SCSI, Amiga 2, Amiga 3000. Everything that I see on the there's all the files, what it's attached to. I could attach something else, change the ID and hit attach, or delete it. Test.hda was the Mac. Add a URL. Download and mount an ISO. Sweet. So that's cool. I can manage the interface on the device. Now this is not like we're comparing this to a SCSI to SD, because that's what we use. No, this is a dynamic, internal or external, mine's going to be external, device that I can use between multiple computers. The networking alone is incredible for that. Adding a network card, that's great. So let's get some numbers. Let's see what she does. Okay, so sysinfo, you know I'm a 68040, 882. Got that fan blowing across the bottom of it. Working great. No problems. I always have some crazy problems with my Amigas, so I work hard so you don't have to. Let's go in the drives here. We're going to check RASCSI, which is the 25 mega, and we're going to hit speed. Now, it's the Amiga SCSI bus, so I'm presuming a couple megs per second. Don't know. Or it could fall in the toilet. The hard drive light just went mad. 932. Interesting. Alright, 942. Let's go to big, which is a bigger drive. And then we're going to compare it to the SCSI to SD, which is inside too. So that's about 1 meg per second, I'd say, roughly. DH1, SCSI to SD, 1 meg, DHO, 1.6. I can nail this. It's usually around a meg. First one's always, 1.6. And then it's about a meg. So it's about equal. You're losing a couple K on the external bus. Now this is just stock stuff. I've done nothing but plug this in, figure it out, and learn it. The RASCSIs are working, dynamic, cool. SCSI 2, 25 and a gig. That's freaking great. Now what happens if I eject the disk like RASCSI on the computer here? So I'm just gonna hit 26 megs, detach. Bye bye. What happens? Oh, got a read error because it doesn't exist anymore. So I'm going to give this a triple finger and let the Amiga reboot because I detached the drive. So adding hot doable. You can add them all you want. HD Toolbox picks them up dynamically. That's quite good. Detaching, of course. I knew it wasn't going to work. I figured, you know what, S&Gs, let's give it a shot. I love the interface. I love that I can save multiple configs for multiple computers because I got a bunch of them. Maybe we can have some Amiga 2000, 3000, and since it's external, pow, plug her in, good to go. Big auto mounted. There's my mods. No problem. I'll bang into the camera. So it's working. And, you know, as you can see, so, you know, that's really cool. I think it's a great device from what I'm doing with it. Now, I just turned it off to show you. I do have to get the LCD screen working. Raspberry Pi on the bottom. It is going to fit in a 3D printed case, which mine currently is not in. Which one's the top? Which one's the bottom? I don't know, like that. Now, the only issue is this needs to go on this side. I was thinking about, if I do get the lights working, extending this through the top so I would have a display. I would have a display of what's on here. And we even got the old bigger screen that I picked up yesterday. So that is the RASCSI. Plugged it into the Mac first to make sure it functioned as its SPOTA, and then moved it over to my very expensive Amiga 3000. Pros: dynamically adding hard drives of whatever size you want to the device as long as your micro SD card supports it. Decently fast, nothing to, it's not gonna be anything more than it is. You have an old computer. This is designed for old computers. Don't expect a Ferrari out of a Yugo. The documentation's very clear. Cons: long compile times on the Linux side. There's a couple issues with the compile where it's using, you need Buster, Rev 10 of the Debian Raspberry Pi OS file system. Version 11 just screws it up. There are notes on the GitHub page. It requires additional utilities to compile. Other than that, it takes, I would say, 1 to 1.5 hours of compile time. Your results may vary. It also has an internal and an external configuration. So if you wanted to toss this in your Amiga, there's a power cord for it, and or your Mac, or even that other one with an A. Actually, the RASCSI now available from Amiga Kit. Pick yours up today. Under $50, fully configured. Access the device via its wireless address. You can sniff for it using many available free tools to sniff what the IP address is. You don't need to have all the crazy wires. You can configure a Raspberry Pi Zero headless. There's many ways to do that. You can Google how to set up a Raspberry Pi Zero headless. That'll save you some cable hunting time. I like to do things the hard way, just to, worst case scenario, can I get through it? Yeah. Learning curve, not really much. It's standard Amiga for my aspect. Macintosh or Amiga hard drive editions. This will use your standard, whatever it is SCSI device this is plugged into. This is a chain off of it. So don't bump in to your original IDs on your regular Amiga. In my case, the 3000 was using 0 and 1. So I just attached my Amiga 3000 hard drive file right to ID 4, 5, whatever. Hot adds, not hot removes. Other Amiga specific tidbits: when you are creating a hard drive file right here, you give it a name, test3. Right here, I just left it alone. This is generic hard drive image. You can see there's Apple genuine, NEC genuine, SCSI removable media disk, generic HDR, and an HDF. SCSI used with X68000. That's the NEC 68000. I left it generic HDS, and this device picks it up on whatever you toss at it. The HDF must be something internal acronym to this that is different than the HDF we are used to. I copied my Pi Storm Amiga 1000 HDF over, had everything on it, fully loaded, 3.2, the whole 9. No, doesn't even see it. I added it, it sees it on the bus, but it's unrecognizable format, unknown to the Amiga. The standard generic one you saw picked up an HD toolbox like it was there its whole life. This is a great product. There's only a couple places that are selling these. It's unique in its own way. Now, there's a million ways to do the same thing, especially with Amiga hardware. There's many ways. The past 2 years have been extremely great for the Amiga community within hardware development, software, new things, operating systems, minus the chip shortage and the whole pandemic thing. It's been a pretty good Amiga time. Lots of new things are coming out. I guess with everybody being in lockdowns or staying home, you've had time to work on your favorite machine. So look for the RASCSI right there. at AmigaKit.com. You can get yours with or without the LCD. You don't really need it. I'm going to try and do some fancy stuff with it. You can see what hard drives are mounted and what system's it on. So there it is. You can get yours at AmigaKit.com. 40 bucks. You don't know how long these are always going to be available, so grab them while you can. I wish I could have did that with a Aeon Megamix card. Sadness. Missed out on that one. So get them while you can. So it's a great addition for any retro computer from your Mac, your Amiga, your Atari, anything with a SCSI device. There is a GitHub wiki knowledge base of what systems work with what. I'm going to submit the Amiga 3000 on there because not a lot of videos are out on this for the Amiga. A lot of this is for the Macintosh, and the Macintosh community loves these. So hopefully the Amiga community can too. So that's all I got for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you learned something.